Welcome to this channel once again. So this is the continuation of the tutorial, that is ongoing tutorial. In last video I tried to answer under which scenario or condition we should select a system, or under which condition or scenario we should select a unit. So except this, there may be several potential questions maybe in your mind. So today I am going to answer two potential questions which may be clicking in your mind. The first question: what is market database, what is infrastructure database, and what is transformation database? So let's click any database here. Let me click brick. Within brick you can see here market, infrastructure and transformation. And within market or infrastructure or transformation you can expect system and unit. So in last video I tried to answer the difference between system and unit. In today's video I will be trying to explain what is transformation, what is infrastructure, and what is market, and how these are related. If you open Simapro, then you can see a variety of data sets are available. So now it's a big challenge which data set may be relevant for our project. Or in other words, we have to select a proper category of data set for our specific project. To do so, we must have a thorough knowledge what different kind of data set represents. For example, if within construction, if we click brick here, within brick, you can see different variety of data set. The first one is market, second one is transformation. This is one classification. Even within market and transformation, there is infrastructure. So let's try to explore what infrastructure is, what market is, what transformation is. So first let's start to explore what is the infrastructure. So to do so, what I will do, I will click here in infrastructure, in transformation. And within infrastructure, we have four category of data set. And I am going to select the second one, that is unit one. And I will explain why I selected unit one when I will try to explain the difference between system and unit. But for now, I am going to select the second one because I am going to explain what infrastructure data set is. So let me click it here and let's view what are the details inside. So this data set basically covers the associated material, process, infrastructure, land, everything which we may require to construct one brick production facility. So the whole data set here is related to the construction of a brick production facility rather than the brick production. And let's see which kind of input a brick production facility may require during its construction. And basically there are two category of input. One is from nature, another is from technosphere or from technical world. So from nature, here you can see that brick production, during construction of brick production facility, it may require this much amount of land, this this amount of land, that is traffic area, transformation, and there are several different category of material. If you want to explore the detail about this, then you can see in the comment, or even you can go here, I mean or even you can click it here, documentation. In documentation you will find the details of all the material activity, so you can go through it. So one thing is clear, that this specific data set is for the brick production facility, not for brick production as such. Now let's say a network diagram which makes us more clear than what we explained verbally. So to do so, what I will do here, I'll click at calculate. Within calculate, you can see it's a network. I click network. Then we should select any indicator here, method, and let's calculate. Let me zoom in. So this is the output, that is one brick production facility or infrastructure. Now let's try to understand this network diagram. This one is the main output, that is one brick production facility. These are the input which requires to construct one brick production facility, that is building hall, industrial machine. Again, to construct building hall, it requires building hall, and building hall is steel construction. Again, for steel we have to sell, again for this hall we may require cement mortar, concrete reinforced. So all the detailed inventory are here, which may require for the construction of one brick production facility. So in conclusion, we can say this data set is for the environmental impact associated during construction or during facility construction, brick production facility, rather than brick production. And this data set may be one major input when you explore the environmental impact assessment associated during production of brick, because that brick is produced at this infrastructure. So whatever the environmental burden associated with this brick production facility, that is also attributed to the brick production. So now what I will do, I will download it. So to download, click at file, then export. Let me assign a file name here, that's infrastructure. Saved it. Okay. Now let's try to differentiate between what is market and what is transformation. So to differentiate between market and transformation, we'll again take an example, and based on that example we'll explain what is the difference between market and transformation. So within market, I am going to select this particular data set, that is clay brick market for clay brick cut-off system. And now we should compare this data set with the similar data set from transformation. That is, we will again select the same data set, that is clay brick and cut-off system, but that should belong to transformation rather than market. So to do so, I click it here again, calculate. In calculate, we have option, that is compare. I clicked it here. Now I am going to add another data set here from transformation. On transformation, I will select this one, that is clay brick, and this data set is similar to the previous one which we have selected here, that is clay brick market for, but this is from market and this is from transformation. Now let's select any indicator here and calculate. Here you can see two different type of bar. The greener one belongs to the market process, whereas the faint green belongs to the transformation process. So normally in market process, it doesn't change the product physically, rather it represents the distribution, transportation and aggregation of a product from multiple suppliers. That means it doesn't represent the impact associated during the conversion of raw material into the final product. Rather, it may be the combination of similar such products from different facilities. Whereas in transformation, only the impact associated with the transformation of raw material into a final product is considered. So in brief, you can say that the transformation data set belongs to the activities which happens normally within the facility area, and the market one that also includes the transportation distribution. I mean the impact associated with the transportation and distribution. And on the most of the occasion, each environmental impact category associated during market process is slightly higher than that of the transformation process, which you can visually see here in bar diagram, and a similar thing you can see here in if you go in table. So in table you can see here that global warming, that category is 0.036 for clay brick market, and 0.0303, that is slightly lower than that of market. So normally almost all environmental impact category in market activity is slightly higher, and it is expected as it considers transportation as it considers the impact associated during transportation distribution up to the market within any specific geographical area. And again, let's see the network diagram of individual process, then it will make us much more clear. So I'm going to close it, and I will open the network diagram of two individual process, and then we will see the similar thing what we explained here. So first let's open the network diagram of clay brick that is under market category. But here I recommend you to open that unit one rather than system one, because in system one you will have only single block of block in network diagram. That what we demonstrated in last video also. So let me click that one, that is unit one, and let's see the network diagram. So calculate network, and let's select any indicator here, calculate. And when you calculate the unit process, it takes slightly more time in comparison to the system process. So this is the network diagram of a market process. Let me. Here you can see 1 kg clay brick consists of two different category of clay brick from infrastructure. One is 0.131 kg from one facility, and second one 0.869 from another facility. That means that 1 kg brick is it's not produced at one facility, or at one infrastructure. Basically it's a combination of two types of clay two types of clay brick from two different facility. Also you can see here the transportation component. So what is the meaning of this component here? So this is basically represents the transport from two different facility up to market under any specific geographic location. So in brief, we can say that market activity represents the combination of different product from a different facility plus transportation associated during the transportation of this product from a different facility up to the market. So when we open network diagram of infrastructure process, then you can find there is only one final product, that is clay brick, and you can't expect that transport that component there in infrastructure process. So let's open that one. I mean that the similar material which is under infrastructure, sorry, which is under transformation category, and then we'll see the difference. So let me close it. now I will open the infrastructure one. Sorry, transformation one. Sorry, it's my mistake. Let's calculate again. Okay. So here you can find only one type of clay brick, that is 1 kg of clay brick, and it is from a particular production facility. And in network diagram, you can see the different kind of input material and process which may require to produce 1 kg of clay brick at any specific production facility. That is, to produce 1 kg of clay brick at particular facility, it may require 1.05 kg of clay market from market, and then clay this one, and then transport facility to up to transport from that raw material up to the market, not the final product up to the, I mean, in point or up to the final destination. So this transport is something different than the transport which we saw during that market activity. So this is totally different. And then yeah, this is all about the, I mean, market and infrastructure process. So again, I'm going to compare this market with the transformation process. Then we can see at a glance, so what is the difference between environmental impact category associated during market and infrastructure. So let me close it, and again I'm going to compare this, and then we'll compare the figure associated during market and activities. So compare again, compare. This is for market. Let me select from transformation one. Let's compare. Here you can see the value of impact category or the amount of impact category under market and transformation are almost, I mean, similar. That means there is not much more difference between market and transformation activity. So for example, in global warming category, you can see 0.036 in market and 0.0303 in brick, sorry, in transformation. Similarly, that one is 1.59 and 1.71, 0.000729, 0.00565. So this is all about, I mean, market process and transformation process. So what I want to suggest at this point, that if you are consultant or if you are, I mean, interested to estimate the environmental impact assessment associated during the construction of a building or any infrastructure where you will be using brick as an input, then you should select a market one. But at the same time, if you are, I mean, manufacturer or producer of brick facility, and then you may have to, I mean, produce some sort of certificate or environmental product declaration, then you should go for a transformation, because at that point you can explain the concerned authority clearly that that much environmental impact is associated during the production of my final product at my facility. Another important concept here which you must know, that what is cutoff. As you can see here, cutoff is associated with each and every activity, every database. For example, here you can see auto break cutoff system, auto break cutoff unit, cutoff system, cutoff unit. So what is cutoff? To understand the cutoff, we should understand the resource allocation system to different activity or product being executed under the similar facility or at the same facility. So to explain this concept, let me open my PPT. So it is better to explain the concept of cutoff with the help of a particular example. This is a typical example of steel production system. Here steel is produced by the manufacturer. Let's say it's a primary producer. So during production, steel waste or scrap is expected. It is very natural. So now the question is, who is responsible for the environmental burden associated with this scrap or waste? So here cutoff gives us the answer of this specific question. As per the cutoff system, if the waste steel is utilized by the secondary user who may recycle it, who can harness the resources from that waste, who can recycle, then it is their burden, not the burden of the primary producer. But at the same time, if the primary producer is not able to manage this waste, or let's say this waste is not recyclable, or let's say the waste is going to be disposed by the primary producer, then it falls under his responsibility. So in brief, this is the cutoff as per my understanding. For detailed knowledge, you must have a thorough idea of what is resource allocation. So you should go through the ISO guideline, how they have advised how to assign resource allocation to different multi-product product. But for this tutorial, I think this idea or this knowledge is sufficient. So thank you very much for being here. If you have any specific question, query, then you can ask through comment. You can post it in comment and I'll try to respond at my own time. Thank you very much.